welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're going to take a really close look at astrological compatibility, specifically that connection between Taurus and Capricorn.
Yeah, and we've got a fascinating mix of sources to, dig into for this. We're looking at an academic paper on Vedic astrology and marriage matching, which is quite something,
Okay.
but also several online articles talking about Taurus Capricorn from a more standard Western astrology view.
Right, the kind most people know.
Exactly. And interestingly, we even found a forum discussion where people shared their own personal stories, their lived experiences with this exact pairing.
Oh, wow. So real-world stuff, too.
Definitely.
So our mission here really is to try and bring together the key insights from all these different angles. We want to understand the core dynamics, the strengths, but also, let's be honest, the potential challenges that pop up with Taurus and Capricorn.
Right.
Think of this as, well, us figuring out together what really makes this pairing tick based on everything we've read.
Sounds good. Where do we start?
Let's start right at the foundation because it's fundamental. They are both earth signs.
Absolutely the bedrock. And, all the sources, regardless of perspective, really agree on this. Being earth signs means they approach life from this very grounded, practical place. There's an inherent stability there.
Yeah, you totally see that in their shared values. Things like stability, security, working hard, actually enjoying, material comforts.
The tangible things.
Exactly. And building something solid for the future. They're really on the same page there. It's interesting. A few sources used phrases like two halves of one whole.
Oh, that's strong.
Yeah. And this idea that they can genuinely be a power couple because they're both so practical and driven towards achieving their goals.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And when you look at them individually within that Earth framework, Taurus, okay, fixed Earth, they're super practical, reliable, stable, love, beauty, comfort, luxury even.
Definitely.
And fiercely loyal. But the flip side is they can be pretty risk-averse and, resistant to change once they're comfortable.
Yeah, don't rock the boat.
Kind of. And then you've got Capricorn, cardinal Earth. They bring that ambition, that discipline, like laser focus. Very grounded, responsible, always thinking about the long game, goal-oriented. Now, they can seem serious, maybe a bit reserved at first.
Right, maybe a little distant.
Yeah, possibly, because they're so focused on planning and achieving. But there's often a fun or even quirky side under that. It just takes time to see it.
Okay, so you've got these two earth signs, similar values but slightly different styles. What draws them together initially?
Well, a lot of it seems to be that recognition. They see that responsible, stable quality in each other. It's familiar. It feels safe.
So Taurus looks at Capricorn and thinks,
wow, hardworking, disciplined, reliable. That really appeals to Taurus's need for security.
okay, and Capricorn sees Taurus and
They're often drawn to Taurus's warmth, their sensuality, that genuine enjoyment of comfort, and the very things Capricorn might be working so hard to get.
Okay, so it complements their own drive.
Exactly.
What about how they actually, start dating? The courtship.
Oh, the sources are really consistent here. It's usually cautious, slow even.
No rushing in.
Definitely not. Neither sign is impulsive in that way. They prefer to build a really solid foundation first. Trust, mutual respect.
Which makes sense for earth signs.
Totally. It's predictable. It's reliable, which is what they both find comforting. Taurus likes to be wooed warmly, affectionately. They need to feel cared for.
Okay.
Capricorn, on the other hand, appreciates sensible gestures. Things that show you're thinking long-term, that you're, practical and committed.
So no grand, impulsive gestures maybe, but steady, thoughtful ones.
Pretty much.
Hmm.
That slow, deliberate pace builds the security they both need before really opening up.
Okay, so they take their time, build that trust. Then what? Once they're actually in the relationship, how does it look? The sources seem pretty positive about their strengths.
Yeah, generally very positive once that foundation is set. In terms of love and romance, you see words like loyal, responsible, faithful popping up a lot.
Solid qualities.
Very solid. Described often as a harmonized and complementary relationship. One interesting take was that Taurus brings the sort of nurturing, the overt care, almost like a parental figure sometimes.
Interesting framing.
Yeah. While Capricorn provides that unwavering loyalty, the structure, the goals, the discipline for the unit. And you see pretty high compatibility scores mentioned in some Western sources like 70, 85, even 90% for things like marriage potential or emotional connection.
Wow, okay. And what about just as friends?
Still really high compatibility. Again, it comes back to those shared Earth values. Stability, beauty, balance, reliability, discipline even.
They get each other on that level.
Exactly. They enjoy deep conversations, apparently, and they're great at supporting each other and building that secure future they both want.
And career and finances, I imagine that's a strong point.
Oh, absolutely. Major strength. Their shared work ethic, their focus on jobs and money, it just clicks.
Yeah.
They're naturally inclined to plan for financial security, and they often achieve a lot together professionally or materially.
A real team effort there.
Definitely.
Now, intimacy and sexuality. The Western sources seem to paint a pretty good picture there, too.
Yeah, they do. They talk about a shared sensuality, a real appreciation for physical affection. It's usually described as, like, harmonious and satisfying. And again, it often develops at that deliberate, comfortable pace, not rushed. Taurus brings the pleasure, the indulgence,
That's Freudian meant.
Right. And Capricorn brings a certain discipline or control, which can create a really interesting balance. It's also mentioned that emotional closeness is key for Capricorn to really let go.
Oh.
While Taurus really needs that physical touch, that reassurance to feel connected. And apparently they both appreciate aesthetics, like setting a nice atmosphere, which adds to it all.
Sounds quite compatible on that front, then.
Generally, yes. Now, switching gears a bit. Let's look at the Vedic astrology perspective from that academic paper. It's a different way of looking at compatibility.
Okay, how does that work?
Well, it starts with the Panchabhuta, the 5 elements. But in astrology, 4 of them, earth, air, fire, water, rule the zodiac signs directly. And importantly for us, Taurus and Capricorn, both earth.
Right, we established that. What else?
Then there are the 3 konas, or trines. These are groups of signs based on, like, their geometric relationship in the zodiac. You have Dharma signs, 1, 5, 9, Kama, 3, 7, 11, Artha, 2, 6, 10, and Moksha, 4, 8, 12.
Okay, so like categories.
Kind of. And the key thing is signs within the same trikona share the same element. Now, Taurus is the 2nd sign, Capricorn is the 10th. They're both in the Artha trikona.
The resource one.
Exactly. Associated with resources, goals, material world stuff. Perfectly fits them, right?
Yeah, totally. So how does this relate to compatibility?
Well, the paper says that if the couple's ascendants or their moon signs, the Chandra races, fall in certain 3 konas together, like Kama, desire relationship focus, or Dharma, purpose duty focus, it's considered really good for marriage.
Oh.
They use terms like very compatibility or very compatible and mingled each other. It suggests a deep fundamental alignment.
Does the paper give examples?
It does. Like a couple with Sagittarius and Aries placements, both fire signs. There are signs 5 and 9 relative to each other, putting them in the Dharma trikonas. Strong match.
Got it.
Another example, Gemini and Leo ascendants, air and fire, and Cancer and Capricorn moon signs, water and earth. Now, Gemini and Leo are signs 3 and 11 apart, Kama trikonas, and Cancer and Capricorn are opposite, 7 signs apart, which is also a significant axis. Plus, in Vedic thought, air and fire are considered friendly elements, and so are water and earth. They mingle well.
So it's looking at the elements and these structural relationships like the 3 konas.
Precisely. It's a deeper layer. There's even a concept called Vasya Parutham, which means fascination or magnetic control, one of the core marriage matching points. And it's partly derived from these elemental and trikona links. It signifies a really potent attraction or harmony.
Fascinating stuff. But, okay, no relationship is perfect, even one that looks this good on paper. Where do the challenges come in?
Right, and the sources definitely highlight potential friction points. One big one is, perhaps surprisingly, their pace and style, even though they're both earth.
How so?
Taurus loves comfort, operates at a more leisurely, steady rhythm. Capricorn, all about ambition, that relentless drive, always aiming for the next thing.
Okay, I can see that clash.
Yeah, so Capricorn might start seeing Taurus as, well, lazy or maybe complacent, lacking drive.
Ouch. And Taurus might feel...
Overwhelmed. Or neglected, maybe. Like they can't keep up with Capricorn's constant focus on work and achievement, or that Capricorn doesn't value relaxation enough.
That makes sense. What else?
Stubbornness. And this is a double whammy because both signs are famously stubborn.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. The sources point out they can both be incredibly rigid. Taurus digs in about comfort, security, routines. This is how I like it.
Don't change my comfy couch position.
Pretty much. And Capricorn is just as unyielding about their standards, their goals, the right way to do things.
So compromise must be difficult.
It can be incredibly hard. They can easily reach these stalemates where neither wants to budge an inch. Very frustrating for both, probably.
And communication. How does that work or not work?
That can be another tricky area. Taurus, when upset, might retreat. become passive-aggressive maybe, avoid the actual confrontation.
Mm.
Capricorn, meanwhile, tends to be direct, which is good, but sometimes that directness can come across as overly critical or harsh, especially to a more sensitive sign like Taurus.
Like a blunt instrument sometimes.
Could feel that way. Plus, Capricorn's natural reserve can sometimes read as emotional distance, and that really clashes with a Taurus's need for reassurance and physical closeness to feel secure.
So Taurus isn't getting the warmth they need, and Capricorn might not understand why Taurus is withdrawing.
Exactly. It's a potential cycle. And, when we looked at that Reddit forum, those real-world accounts, you could really see these themes playing out.
What kind of things were people saying? Keeping in mind, these are just anecdotes, of course.
Of course. But we saw Capricorns mentioning issues with Tauruses around honesty, maybe white lies or excuses to avoid work. Things like trying to micromanage or being flaky with plans.
Interesting.
Yeah, and also sometimes a perceived lack of emotional support when things got tough. Like the Taurus partner wasn't really there for them emotionally, and comments about potential superficiality hiding under a chill vibe, or that core stubbornness manifesting as passive or avoidant behavior.
Wow, so those general tendencies can really cause real-world friction.
Absolutely. And it's worth noting the Vedic system isn't all roses either. That paper mentions Sastashtaka, 6-8 sign relationship, which experienced astrologers consider not good for marriage matching. It implies inherent tension.
So just like there are harmonious connections, there are inherently challenging ones too.
Right. And the paper also touched again on elemental clashes, like fire signs don't mix well with water or earth, and air clashes with water or earth, they're seen as enemies or less compatible. If those clashes happen in key placements, it predicts difficulty.
Okay, so there's definitely potential for things to go sideways. But clearly, many Taurus-Capricorn relationships thrive. How do they make it work? What are the strategies?
Well, the sources are pretty clear on this. Number one, overwhelmingly, is open and honest communication. They have to talk about their different needs, expectations, and feelings.
Easier said than done sometimes, especially with those communication styles.
True. Taurus needs to consciously work on being receptive to feedback, maybe being more direct instead of withdrawing. And Capricorn needs to aim for compassionate criticism, not just bluntness, tempering that directness.
Okay, communication first. What else?
Compromise and flexibility. Huge. Given that shared stubborn streak, they both have to consciously meet in the middle. Balancing Capricorn's drive with Taurus's need for relaxation and Taurus's need for stability with supporting Capricorn's ambitions.
So learning from each other almost.
Exactly. Taurus can actually benefit from Capricorn's discipline, and Capricorn can definitely learn from Taurus how to, chill out and enjoy life a bit more.
Prioritizing the relationship seems important too, especially with Capricorn's work focus.
Crucial. Both need to make a real conscious effort to put the relationship first sometimes, despite work pressures or other goals.
Yeah.
It needs intentional nurturing.
Makes sense.
And enhancing intimacy and connection is vital, especially for Taurus, who really thrives on physical touch and reassurance. But it's not just about the bedroom.
Right.
It's about trying new things together to keep it fresh, balancing their love of routine with a bit of spontaneity, and really deepening that emotional intimacy outside the bedroom so the physical connection feels even stronger.
Then finally.
Remembering why they got together in the first place. Focusing on those shared objectives, building that stable, secure, comfortable future. That shared goal can be a powerful anchor when they hit disagreements. It helps them remember they're on the same team.
So it takes work, but the potential payoff is huge.
Absolutely. When they do put in that effort, navigate the challenges consciously. The sources consistently describe the Taurus-Capricorn bond as deeply satisfying, incredibly enduring, steadfast.
Built to last.
Pretty much. And what's interesting is that the very act of working through those conflicts, it actually strengthens the bond. It builds more respect, deeper understanding, trust, confidence that they can handle whatever life throws at them together.
That foundation, they share the earth element, the shared values, that commitment. It's incredibly strong if they nurture it.
Exactly. It really can stand the test of time.
Wow. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. Started with that shared earth foundation and their common goals.
Looked at the attraction, their strengths in love, friendship, work, intimacy, pulling from both Western and Vedic perspectives.
Right. And then we honestly looked at the tough spots, that push-pull between comfort and ambition, the stubbornness, communication hiccups.
Yeah, even hearing how those things can show up in real life from those forum discussions.
And crucially, we talked about the strategies, the communications, compromise, connection that can help them build something really lasting.
So thinking about all these insights, from ancient ideas to modern guides to personal stories, what does this exploration of elemental harmony or shared goals or even potential friction points make you think about the dynamics in your own key relationships?
Yeah, how might understanding those core needs, those potential clashes, using different lenses like we did today, help you connect more deeply or navigate things better with the important people in your life, whatever their zodiac sign might be? Something to ponder.